Thank you for your interest in being a volunteer leader with PIHRA. We have our current president of PIHRA right here, Tara. Thank you so much for your service to PIHRA and HR in general. Welcome.
Thanks, Lauren. I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy that you're here listening and learning more about volunteering and opportunities with PIHRA as well.
Absolutely. Well, give us a high-level overview. What is the PIHRA Association? How is it affiliated with SHRM? And why should an HR practitioner or vendor be interested in being involved and especially being a volunteer leader?
Awesome question. So PIHRA, just to start, is the Professionals in Human Resources Association. It started actually in the 1940s as the Personnel Industrial Relations Association. So we've been able to keep the name as HR has changed. So we are also an affiliate chapter of the Society for Human Resources Management. We're actually the largest affiliate chapter of SHRM in the nation. So we are huge. We cover most of Southern California, from North San Diego all the way up past up to San Luis Obispo, and it's a huge organization filled with HR professionals, vendors, HR adjacent professionals, all of that. And so for me, I've been part of both SHRM and PIHRA for many years. And to me, I think anyone that's considering joining PIHRA or getting involved with PIHRA, I think what's been so valuable for me is the relationships that you're able to make, not only on the professional level and meeting people to help you get along on your HR job, but also meeting HR professionals that become your friends and become your advisors. I have created my own personal board of directors of HR friends and service providers that I go to for any of my questions. So it's been really helpful to be part of this.
Absolutely. The collaboration, the impact, the relationship building.
Yep.
There's a lot of relationships that are built, of course, inside of our own organizations during our day jobs when we're not volunteer leaders.
True.
And it's just so beneficial, as you said, to build that personal board of directors. I believe in that so much as well. Personal counsel, to have mentors and constructive trustees and people that we can call upon that are like-minded and probably have our HR certifications or similar ones, and we can draw on that experience and that history and that background. And so volunteering with PIHRA, not just being a member, but being a volunteer leader, how has that been beneficial for you professionally and personally?
Sure. So I am the current president of PIHRA. I have served PIHRA now, this is 7 years, I believe, that I've been in a leadership position for me. For my career, I will definitely say that being part of this board and being part of this group, I've learned a lot about how business operates, and it's really helped me with leadership skills. I've actually had multiple job promotions and things like that through the work that I've done here. Getting certified, getting engaged here has been so helpful to me personally and professionally.
Absolutely, and I think a lot of our volunteer leaders will say the same thing, that those relationships and then gaining that experience here, maybe leading a board meeting or volunteering, large or small, we gain those professional skills in a safe space, and then we can apply those into our professional careers as well.
Definitely, and there's a lot of things that we do here in our leadership roles that actually complement the positions that we do. Like thinking about membership. If you're into recruiting, membership is very akin to recruiting because you're looking at bringing new people in and getting them excited and sharing those kind of benefits. I will say, looking at board documents as I do on the executive board, it really helps me when I go back to work because now when I'm looking at P&L sheets or learning about how to budget or things like that, I learn those skills here because as you're growing in your HR career, you don't really have access to that information when you're in your more junior part of your career. So it's allowed me to learn in a way that now I can contribute back at the office.
Absolutely. Well, we really appreciate your experience, your expertise, and all of your time that you spend with all of us at PIHRA. What would you say if somebody is thinking that they want to get involved? Where should they start?
Yeah, I think the world is your oyster, really. I mean, it takes a whole village. PIHRA, while we do have wonderful staff that help us, do a lot of our larger events, there's a lot of things, small things that it takes to make this happen. So we have local chapters. So there's 17, I believe. Am I right? 17?
18 if we
18.
count, let's say, emerging leaders, college relations,
okay, all right,
which are
all
not
right.
technically chapters, however, chapter adjacent.
So we've got geographic chapters and we've got special interest groups, and those really need a lot of help, and it's a great place. So if you go near where you live or where you work or with people that you're interested, like-minded, start there. And you can start with really micro little things. You don't have to come in and be the president of the association. You can come in and do things, for a day, or do things, that are low time commitment as well. I think it doesn't matter whether you have an hour or a minute. We would love your help and we would appreciate your help. So I would say to anybody, don't be afraid of the time commitment or think that you don't have the ability to do it, because you do, and there is so much opportunity here.
And then when you go to the larger events outside of just at your chapter, you feel so connected, because you run into your friends, you run into people on your personal board that we talked about, and it feels like, oh yes, I'm coming here to learn, let's say, about a legal update, an HR violation I shouldn't be making, etc. Right?
That never happens.
It never happens. However, we're also here seeing our friends and seeing our other HR colleagues, and that has tremendous value for us professionally.
I totally agree. Obviously, the California employment laws are changing quicker than people change their clothing, right? And so to be able to have somebody to discuss that, a lot of times in our organizations, and for me being in an executive position in my organization, I don't have those colleagues to talk to and really work through it. I mean, the new California sick leave law just came out, and now people are saying, okay, I get it, but what about this? Or what about this scenario or that scenario? Who do you have to ask other than your colleagues? And
exactly.
it's super helpful to have that.
Absolutely. Then you can really have other trusted advisors with you, and you can fumble along the way together. But to your point, being an executive in the HR space, maybe you talk to your CFO, but they're not necessarily involved in HR. No. You talk to your CEO, they have different points of things that they're looking at inside of your own organization. Yeah. And so being a volunteer leader with PIHRA and coming to our events, it gives you that opportunity to really collaborate.
Definitely. And I've come to realize the higher that you move in your HR career, the less people inside your organization understand what you're doing or what you're working on. So it has become, you would think that, junior in your career, you really need to be connecting and networking, but even as you grow into a more senior position, it's really important too, because you really want to have that brain trust around you that you can really talk to, that understand it. And then also just giving back. So for us, we've got college relations and our emerging professionals, emerging leaders, where we're starting to put together programs. So there's different ways that HR professionals can help mentor and bring forward the next generation, and do that service to pay it forward. And that's something else I'm really excited about.
Absolutely. So no matter if you're new to the HR space or very senior, or perhaps you're on the vendor side or HR adjacent, as you said, yes. there's really a space for you inside of PIHRA, no matter where it is in your career, what you're looking for. And of course, that's great for membership, but then when you add the volunteering to it and having that leadership position, we get to do so much inside of PIHRA, since we are a member-driven association. We really do exist for the members.
That's right.
And so then being able to volunteer adds a layer of not just accountability, but like interest in the organization, the association, and our ability to really be invested.
I think that's right. And then one of the other things that I just, forgot to mention, but I want to make sure we don't let it go, by the wayside, is the impact that we can make as volunteers through our legislative advocacy. We have a really strong, legislative advocacy team here, where we're actually influencing lawmakers on the different laws that are coming through that we all have to deal with as they get passed, helping and being that advisory and letting our voices be heard. And I think that's a really interesting group too, for people that want to have their voices heard, in Sacramento and at the local level too.
Absolutely. I think it gives even more meaning to your career when you get to be involved in a professional association like PIHRA. So thank you, Tara, so much for your time, all that you give to the organization and the HR profession.
Thank you for all you do for the profession as well. Lauren, you're amazing, and I hope to see all of you soon. Always reach out if you have any questions.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.